Cricut tips, but it's also getting to be pumpkin season, right? So today I'm going to show you a few things that you can do with your Cricut or our Cricut here at the library to either really make a cool jack-o'-lantern that shows your own personal style, or take a really neat little inexpensive Dollar Tree item and turn it into a really cool decoration. Again, your own personalized flair on it. If you don't have a Cricut, no worries. Remember, the library does have one. You can use it by appointment. We do ask that when you call and make an appointment, if you've never used a Cricut before, let the staff know so that they can make sure someone here is on hand to kind of guide you through it the first time. If you already have a Cricut, well, then you're excited, right? Woo! Lots of fun. Remember, the library's Cricut also does have access, so we do have images, and the one that I use today and we'll put in the activity pack is actually available here on our Cricut for you to use. Remember, if you don't have a Cricut, you can still do the project. I will leave them in the vestibule. There'll be a cool little stencil there for you so you can make your own awesome jack-o'-lantern. Or if you would like to, I will also leave the design for the other pumpkin that I'm going to show you, our little Dollar Tree inexpensive pumpkin to put your own flair on. I'll leave some stencils for that as well, and those can be picked up in the vestibule of the library during our regular library hours, which now have been extended. Yay! Monday through Friday. We open at 9 and are here until 5 o'clock, except that on Tuesdays and Thursdays we're now here till 7. And good news, we have Saturday hours. We are here from 10 to 2 on Saturday, so you can pick those up anytime during our library hours. But if you really need a stencil and you can't get here during that time, just give us a call. We'll put your name on it, and we can leave it on the doorstep for you, right? We'll make arrangements for you. We'll work with you. So today we're going to look at our fabulous Cricut library that we have and how you can kind of use that to make your own personalized decor, really sort of emphasize your own style. So some of the images that I'm going to be showing you today when we go into the design space are off of the old school, as I like to call them, the cartridges. And if you're used to using the Cricut and you've used it for quite some time, or if you have an older model, you'll know that the cartridges used to come and you plug the cartridges in there. We were actually able to link this because we already owned it when we upgraded to our Air machine. We linked our cartridge, so all of these designs are on our Cricut here at the library. And this is a really cool one. It's called the Fall Collection Pumpkin Carving Cartridge. And it has a ton of what I like to call stencils, really neat things. And I'm not sure if you can see this. Let me jump up here so that you can see it really closely. We actually have access to all of these images right here, most of which end up being a really cool stencil for your pumpkins, or you could even do window decor. Lots of really cool things that you can design with this pretty simply. So I'm going to show you that right now. We're going to head over to the computer. We're going to jump into design space. I'm going to show you a couple really neat things so that you can make a stencil either for your jack-o'-lantern, or again, take that Dollar Tree treasure and make it something really cool. So let's go on into the design space and get creative. So when we log on to Design Space, we come to the home page here, and you'll see the option of My Projects, New Projects, and down here you will see Cricut Access that suggests projects, and they're already getting ready for Christmas. Oh my gosh. But we are going to focus on fall and the fun little holiday that's coming up. So we're going to pick a new project. So we get our nice blank mat here that is just full of possibilities for us to create. We're going to go to images, and I had chose fall, so if Halloween is not your thing, there are some really cool fall ones here as well. But for today's project, because we are talking about pumpkin carving, I did pick Halloween to start with. And when I picked Halloween, of course, you can see the first thing that comes up are all these purchased ones. And again, that is the cartridge that I showed you. The library already owned that, so we linked that. So we get all of these fun images here that are just, they make fabulous stencils, and I'll show you the two options that you have when you go to do a stencil. And I will actually even show you what I did with my stencil to kind of sort of step up your game a little bit, especially if you're not really artistic, which I am not. This is a fun thing to do, is pick out a design, and you can make a really cool pumpkin with very little artistic ability. You see these people who do these fabulous pumpkins all the time, and you're like, oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't even draw stick people. Well, that's where Cricut comes in and helps you design something really fun and really cool. And so as we scroll down, you can see some really neat and really cool designs. Like the cat here is really cool. I'm going to choose these bats because I'm going to show you, if you don't want to carve a pumpkin, bats will be kind of fun, but you can also put the bats on your pumpkin. And I'm going to choose both of these because they'll make cool little pumpkin faces. But again, you can see those were the purchase ones up there that were linked to our cartridge. These free ones are the ones that come with access. So if you have signed up for a personal account, if you have a Cricut at home and you subscribe to Access, you will get all of these fun little seasonal things for free. We also subscribe to Access through the library, so if you come into the library and use our Cricut, you will have access to these images. Again, you can do that by appointment, but if you have not used a Cricut before, we ask that when you make your appointment that you please let the staff know, so that we can make sure that somebody who knows the Cricut is able to kind of assist you the first time through and walk you through things. So there's just all kinds of fun designs in here that are really super cool, and I'm going to go ahead and pick this one as well. And we have picked these 4 images, so I'm going to pick insert images so that we can go to our canvas and we can start getting creative. And they all kind of just pile up on each other like crazy, and that's no big deal because we can just kind of move these around so that we can see them. Now, a reminder again that you do not have to have a Cricut in order to do this project. If you would like to just come to the library and pick up a stencil, those will be available during our regular business hours. They sit out in the vestibule in a little box that is marked Cricut supplies. You can just come in and pick one up. Feel free to. And you can check out our library hours at the end of this video and also on our website. And make sure that you're checking out our website because we have all kinds of fun things going on every day. But especially in the month of October, lots of cool things going on. So one of the things that I just wanted to share with you really quickly as kind of your Cricut tip for today is when you look at your different images, you are able to take an image that is already kind of loaded and set a certain way and kind of alter it a little bit. And I'm going to show you with this cat how to do that. So you can see that our cat is currently just slightly over 3 inches high and is just under 2.5 inches wide. Okay, so let's say that I have a kitty at home, but my kitty maybe is a little heftier, or I just think that cat's too scrawny, or maybe the shape of my pumpkin, I want the cat to take up most of the front area of my pumpkin, so I feel it has to be wider, but I don't necessarily want it any taller, or I can't have it any taller. That is what this little unlock button is for, okay? If I just wanted to make this a bigger image, and when I say bigger, I mean that I'm going to make it both taller and wider, all I have to do is kind of pull that arrow, and it will automatically adjust it and make it bigger. In other words, for the height and the width, it stays within that same ratio. It won't distort the image, okay? But again, let's say that I want to make it wider. All I have to do is come down to this little unlock button. I unlock it, and I now have the option to make my image taller or wider without adjusting the opposite element. So let's say, for example, that I don't want it any taller, but I want to make the cat wider. I'm simply going to pull my arrow this way. And now my cat becomes kind of longer without getting any taller. And it kind of makes it look a little less scrawny as well. Again, this will tend to distort your image depending on the image that you're playing with. And I will also remind you that once you get it where you want it, and let's say that I like it like that, always lock it back up, because if you go to try and move it, it will, you know, sort of play still with the height and the width. And you can leave it like that. Now let's say you decide you don't want that, it just looks weird, you can unlock it, you can put it, you know, back to where you want it, or mess with it some more, maybe make it taller. I can make it a little taller, a little thinner. It's really entirely up to you how you want your image to look. But you're not locked into just the standard image that they give you, or that ratio that they give you. With this lock and unlock button, you can really play around with that and get it to where you want it to be. So let's talk about stenciling a pumpkin. Whether you're going to paint it or whether you're going to carve it, and who's going to be painting or carving. So this one here is a really nice element. I'm actually gonna change the color on this so that we can talk about them differently. And that's a neat little thing to do. If you see that I clicked on that, it gives you the options. When you actually go to what we call, when you go to the mat to cut your images, you will be able to see what will get cut on what mat. Currently the bats and this particular pumpkin, and you can see over here, are both orange. So when we go to the mat, that will actually cut on an orange mat, because they're assuming that you're going to cut on orange paper. If I had not changed the color on that, that would still cut on the orange mat. You can always move things around once you get into the space to get things to cut on the same mat or another mat. It really doesn't matter at this point. I just wanted to kind of differentiate between these two, even though they're the same. So if you tune in on Friday for Friday Family Fun Night, you will get some other pumpkin carving tips, and I particularly address pumpkin carving with kids, because it's often that kids don't get a whole lot of hands-on when it comes to pumpkin carving. For starters, we don't want to hand them a big giant knife and say, "Ooh, here, go to town." So what I did with my granddaughter is I actually used something very similar to this, where I had pre-cut some shapes onto some sticker paper. She actually got to choose what shapes she wanted to use for the eyes, nose, and the mouth. We put the stickers onto the pumpkin, and then we traced around the stickers, and then we used a technique that she could actually be involved in the carving process. And I'll let you tune into Friday Family Fun Night if you're interested in seeing that, and I'm going to show you a different version of that technique in just a little bit when I go to demonstrate some of the stenciling. So if you're going to use an image to help guide pumpkin carving, this is a good image to use here on sticker paper. You can actually cut this on sticker paper and trace it out, or if kids just want to cut stickers and they're fine with decorating their pumpkin that way, this is an excellent option, is to use this right here as a stencil, again, for tracing, or just, you know, to decorate is very fun. This one over here, what is the difference between the two? You could use this one, and again, then if you wanted more space, maybe between the two eyes or in between the eyes and the nose, these are all kind of freestanding. This will be one solid piece. When you cut this, this will actually look like a stencil. All in one piece, the ratio won't be able to be changed. Again, yes, you can use this to simply take your pen and go inside of here and trace everything out and then go ahead and cut it. If you're interested in painting a pumpkin, then you could simply lay this out on the pumpkin, tape it down, and go ahead and paint over it. You do the little, what I like to call the Dollar Tree conversion, and I do demonstrate that here in a minute, my Disney version of the Dollar Tree one. This stencil will also be available in the vestibule. Just make sure that you're looking at the folders so that when you come in, you don't just grab a folder and maybe you wanted to paint the bats onto a pumpkin and you ended up with the pumpkin stencil. They will be labeled. Just make sure that you get the right stencil. And you are welcome to both of them. Just please don't take more than one of each so that we have enough for everyone. And if for some reason you should come into the library and that we are out of stencils for some reason, just let someone at the front desk know, and we will make sure that we get some more cut so that you are able to do, because we don't want anybody to miss out on the fun or the project. Fun thing, and that's why I downloaded the witch and forgot to put her back in. So I'm going to go back here for just a second. I'm going to grab this witch, but not that witch. I'm going to grab this other witch because I'm going to show you one other cool thing that you can really have some fun with. Is that all of these, and again, if you're more of a fall person than a Halloween person, you could certainly pick a pumpkin. And let's go back. Let's pick a pumpkin. Let's do that instead. We'll go back here and we will pick a pumpkin. We'll pick this guy right here. That way it'll be fun, because I don't want you to forget that one of the best parts about the Cricut is that you can personalize things. And so we'll pick out a text here, and we'll do a little KPL, because that's always fun, Kingsville Public Library. And we'll pick out a font, and remember that if you have your own Cricut, anything that is stored in your database of your actual device, whatever device you have downloaded your design space onto, whatever fonts are stored in that device, your Cricut Access will also have access to, which means if you go to one of those free font sites and you download a font onto your laptop, your desktop, whatever you're using, you can then upload that font into the Cricut. And so we have picked Chiller because Chiller's kind of spooky and kind of cool, and I now have this really sort of spooky and cool KPL. I can take this right over here and put this on my pumpkin, and by simply highlighting those and going down here to the bottom and attaching them, this will now go to the cut mat together. And just so that I can show you, I'm going to change that color as well. We'll make this one yellow so that you can see it. So now when I take this to the mat, this will actually carve KPL right into this pumpkin silhouette. And this gives you a fun option if you wanted to get Cricut window cling. You could actually make your own personalized window clings and put them in the windows of your house or on the windows of your car. They will also stick to any kind of glass. So if you wanted to, do a vase or a candy jar with just a temporary thing, you can put the window cling on. They also have removable vinyls so that you can, again, take any kind of glassware, dish type of stuff you might have at home, whether it even be plastic, to kind of give it a temporary and sort of festive look for a holiday. That's a really easy way to do it. In fact, Cricut makes both a permanent and a temporary vinyl that you can do that with. And if you wanted something just temporary, you can also pick up contact paper from the Dollar Tree or some of the other dollar stores that is very inexpensive and comes off of glassware pretty easy. It's pretty easy to clean off. So you could give something kind of a festive look if you've got some glass candle holders, or maybe a glass candy dish. You can give it a nice festive look for Halloween and then turn it around and give it a new look for Thanksgiving and peel it off again and do a new look for Christmas with the same dish over and over again, which makes Cricut kind of a really fun thing to do. And the possibilities are endless. And the stencil, as far as painting, you don't have to think about, again, just limiting yourself to doing it on a pumpkin. You could use window paints and put it on the windows, either of your car or your house. I have used regular 50-cent acrylic paints from Walmart and put them on t-shirts or on pillows. So you can really get festive around your house with a lot of holiday decor for really, really cheap, which is why I love the Cricut. So I'm going to make one more text here really quick just so I can show you how much fun this is. There's my text box. I couldn't see it. I couldn't find it. So if we go right down here and we type in a little text, and if I could type, that would be great. You can take this and kind of move it over here. And now I've personalized my witch. And again, I'm just going to attach those so that when they go to the mat, that they go together, and we carve those or cut those together. So when you're all done, when you've played with your stuff, you've got it the size that you want it to, you've got it personalized the way you want it to, we just go ahead and click Make It. It will take us to the mat. It will lay out all that we have. So we have our black kitty. We have our fun stuff here for our actual stencils. And again, these two are the ones that will be available in the library. Just make sure that if you're coming for bats that you look at the file or the envelope and get bats, or if you're looking for jack-o'-lantern stencil that you get that. Don't just grab something and assume that's what you're getting. And again, you'll see that here that this all goes on to one mat, so the KPL will actually be carved into this little pumpkin design, and the same with our little witch hat with our little name. So that's basically all there is to it. It's very simple. You can, again, trace the outlines of your silhouettes to carve your pumpkins. I'm going to show you a couple techniques that will help you do a little more intricate detail. And the big thing is, when you're personalizing your pumpkins, don't get hung up on just the theme of Halloween or fall. I actually Disneyed mine, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. But when you go to the images, if you look through the Cricut Access, there are tons of images for all kinds of themes and holidays and ideas. So if dogs are your thing, or flowers are your thing, there's lots of cool things to look for there. I put in Cinderella, and this is one of the images that I got that I really liked, and this is one that I ended up putting on my pumpkin that I'll show you in just a minute when I show you some of the pumpkin techniques. And again, just as a reminder, make sure that if you have kids at home that you tune into Friday Family Fun Night, because I'm going to give you some more tips on how to help your kids stay really involved and really be a part of their own pumpkin carving. So let's jump out of design space, and I will give you a few tips on how to carve your pumpkins, and then you guys are on your own to go be creative, as I know you always are, and make sure that you're sharing those with us so that we can post them on our Facebook page and show the rest of the world what an awesome job that you did. So let's check out some pumpkins here. So I took my stencil, I laid it on the pumpkin, I took a Sharpie and traced it so that I could mark my letters out, and I'm now taking nails and I have placed them along the lines of my design, and I'll hammer them in, and I'll put the nails as closely together as possible so that the holes are almost connected. And once I have traced the entire outline by nailing holes into it, I will take a very thin screwdriver, one that's just a little bit bigger than maybe you would use for like glasses, and I will join the holes together so it will actually make a very fine cut into the pumpkin. So if you look very closely, you can see that the holes are very, very close together. So now I'm just going to go ahead and take that thin screwdriver and just join those holes that will then form an actual cut line in my design. So here we have the finished product that you can see in the light, where I have the letters kind of outlined and the shoe completely carved out. And once we turn off the lights and add some light to the actual pumpkin, you will see how it looks in the dark. So by keeping those lines very thin, the letters almost glow. I might want to make the lines on the bottom just a little wider so they glow a little more. And by using that scraping again, kind of have that glowing over top of the shoe. But that's our pumpkin in the dark. So I got one of these cute little styrofoam pumpkins from the dollar store, and I painted it with some silver spray paint. I cut these little Mickey heads from contact paper that I got from the Dollar Tree. I like that because it peels easily off of your surface without tearing up your paint. I had put a base coat of silver, put the stickers on, and then put the copper paint over top of it and just painted right over top of the stickers. So it's as simple as sticking your stickers on, painting over, and then peeling them off. You can achieve this same effect by using the bat stickers that are included in the project pack. I would recommend maybe using a plastic paint. You can see where my paint kind of tore up the styrofoam a little bit, but it also kind of makes it look a little more like a real pumpkin, even though real pumpkins aren't copper. I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please like, comment, and share so that your friends can become our friends. If you have questions, make sure that you email us, reference@kingsvillelibrary.org, where you can always give us a call on the phone. And make sure that you pick up that project pack if you don't have a Cricut so that you can get creating. Remember, those are available in the vestibule during our open hours. You can check out our hours at the end of this video and on our website, and make sure that you're checking out all the awesome things that are happening all month long and all the time on our website right here at the Kingsville Public Library. We will see you real soon.